So now that we've got that, I'm going to open up my outline. So I guess we just talk about what the outline then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, and we're live now?
Yeah.
Okay, we should probably say our names so that she knows who all's here.
Yes. So I'm Ashley Thomas.
I'm Kathy Amaro.
I'm Kylie Anderson.
And I'm Megan Doucette.
All right, perfect. So I guess we'll just go through. Do we just does someone just want to start and then just say kind of like what your outline, are we supposed to answer the questions or just like talk about what you put in your outline, what you found interesting, what you learned?
I think we're each supposed to talk for about 4 minutes, like based off our outline.
Perfect.
So I can go first.
All right.
I don't mind. So, okay. So I'm going to just kind of go along chronologically according to what we read for the different weeks. So, and the questions that we asked. So for me, my vision with family life education is, well, after I graduate in April, then I am going to do my master's in marriage and family therapy from North Central University. I'm do that online. And I want to incorporate marriage and parenting and grief workshops into my therapy. I prefer a kind of the look to the future rather than dig up the past approach. So I don't plan on doing any of that, pathology digging kind of therapy. My personal strengths and abilities are, I grew up in an ethnically diverse background. I grew up in a farming community. There were a lot of people that were Hispanic and Puerto Rican and Black and white and Indian. And my best friend in high school was Armenian. And my husband is half Japanese. So working with different ethnic groups will not bother me at all. When I was married to my first husband, we were pretty low on the socioeconomic scale, and so I personally participated in some of the programs like Head Start or food stamps or those kinds of things. So again, it won't bother me to work with people that have those challenges. So, and I enjoy talking with and teaching people. It doesn't matter whether I've been in sales or whatever, I've always taught people at some level. So why should we use credible and scholarly information in the education that we teach for people? There's enough improper information out there just in the media. The media teaches things like marriage is easy. If you're just in love, that's all that you need. Prior relationships have nothing to do with the relationship that you're in today. Children don't need two parents, or divorce is no big deal. Those are the kinds of things that people hear in the popular media. And we need to make sure that we're giving quality information. Things like, marriage should come before the marriage should come before anything, including the children. That's an important thing that I don't think most people in society know today. The truth about childhood attachment and how it works. I don't think most people even understand that there is such thing as attachment, much less how to work it, how to improve it, anything like that. Best practices on how to stabilize marriages, improving communication. I believe people want to do better. They just lack good information, or they had poor family role models. And we have what they need and what they want. And so it's our responsibility to give them good information. So the family life education levels, there's a primary, secondary, and tertiary. And it's really important to make sure that we stay within the scope of our particular training and to be excellent at the training that we do instead of trying to do other people's jobs. If we get into like the pathology part of it in the tertiary, making sure that we turn that over to to somebody who's trained in that, and that we just do the best with what we have. So personally, for me, I would prefer to spend my time educating people in the primary level, marriage preparation, proper ways to date in court, what important characteristics there are before you get married. But I understand that for most people, they're going to be in that secondary level before they seek help. And so that's where the crisis and grief is going to come in. Like I said, I personally have experience with that. I was only 40 years old when my husband died. So I understand that kind of grief. And so I'd like to want to help people get support, understand the stages of grief, how to cope with it. And then I think strengthening marriages is always important. So I think as we create our programs, we need to keep these kind of things in mind. We need to think about who we want to teach, what we want to teach, who our audience is, why we want to teach the information that we want to teach, and find out what they want to know, making sure that when we have questionnaires that they are general enough to not cross over into pathology, but specific enough to find out what their issues are. Same thing with interviews, making sure that we have those general pre-written questions so that we don't slide into therapy. And then we need to make sure that we have the right approach that matches our target audience, making sure that whether we're going to be an expert or facilitator or a collaborator fits the audience. And then making sure we market it properly so that we value that we give value to the participant, and we value their time and their resources, and that we're giving them what they need. Using the networking to find the clients, maybe with closely related businesses or groups, and then seeking to have community involvement in what we teach. So, all right, so that's it. Thank you, guys. Who's next?
Ashley, we can't hear you, I don't think.
Sorry, I didn't know. I forgot I was muted. So I have to go to the temple at 5:32, so I'll be quick. So I did mine on family life educators, and I kind of just did my outline more on just like what they are, like personal experiences that I've had that go to it for what I'm trying to go into. I'm also trying to go into therapy, and so I think it's really important to understand what family life educators do, because I don't know if you needed like a personal degree with it, but I know like we can be educators too just by learning. So like Kathy I had the 3 types of levels of prevention, so like primary, secondary, or tertiary. And I thought those were pretty interesting how they had different levels on what kind of programs you can do just depending on what the situation is with each individual. And so I kind of just like defined what family life educators do. And they do more of like a preventative education rather than a therapeutic approach, however. So their main goal is to identify problems and establish goals to help people just no matter what they're going through, whether it's family problems, marital problems, issues with yourself, just depending on what maybe you're going through, maybe self-esteem, because I too want to be a counselor because I go through self-esteem issues. I struggle with some anxiety, and so I think to be able to get on the same level as some others that may be dealing with those kind of things. I'm also adopted, and so I was young, but I feel like I can just help in different types of situations if that were the case. Let's see. So I took a class last semester. It was the parent guidance child. It was a parent-child class, and we had to teach our students in the class, and then at the end of the semester we had to teach parents. And so at first I didn't know if I wanted to go into this because I have to like speak in front of others. I feel like a family life educator, depending on the audience, you may have to speak in front of others, and that really made me nervous. And so I had to teach a parenting class, and I was super nervous because I'm not a parent myself, so why would I teach parents about parenting their own children when I don't have my own? And it went along with, in chapter 2, it said that, where I'm looking at it, it's important that we teach adults, but they might be set in their ways or certain opinions. And it talked about how you need to like personally relate with them, and there were 4 elements to help when parents might have those strong opinions. We must find principles that their clientele need to know most. So the 4 elements were, number 1 was ideas are grounded, sound in scholarship. Number 2 is ideas ring true or fit with the values and instincts. Number 3 was ideas fit with the incorporate knowledge, culture, expertise, and lived experiences of the learners. And number 4 was ideas work in practice. And so in my abnormal psychology class, another experience I've had this semester, and I just think it's interesting because we're reading a book along with our textbook about like the pragmatic side of psychology, like abnormal psychology, and he takes that approach with it. And I think one of the 4 elements, it said that ideas ring true or fit with our values and instincts, and he's trying to bring that kind of same idea into his book, that we do have morals and values, and we use that when helping other people. And I think a lot of like psychologist-driven based researchers, they tell you not to bring in like your values and your morals to them. You just need to help them out. But I think that's kind of hard when we all grow up in different situations. Our family lives are different. We have a different religious background, just like any of those type of factors. And I think you do need to bring in those morals and values that you have to help. Whether you believe in them or not, you could maybe work through it with them together and find something that fits their lifestyle. And then lastly, it just talked, and I don't even know if I'm doing this right, but lastly, they just talked about designing the framework, and to have an effective program, they need to have a strong program curriculum with a strong theory and good research base, making sure you know all your facts and your evidence to back you up. And it needs to have clear goals, objectives, and methods. So the 5 stages were problem analysis. Stage 2 was program design. Stage 3 was pilot testing. Stage 4 was advanced testing. And stage 5 was dissemination. And I just thought those were interesting because you need all of those to make a successful program. But yeah, I don't know if I did that right. That's kind of just like what I got out of the lesson, and I made an outline with it. So.
Okay. Go ahead and go. Let's see.
I have a puppy, so he's getting into everything.
Sorry, for some reason I closed out of my outline. Let me open it up real quick. Okay, so I think I don't really think there's a right and wrong way to do the outline. I hope not anyway, because it seems like we kind of did it all in different ways, which I think is what she wants. I think she wants us to personalize it. But the way I did mine was I focused on 3 specific topics that I thought were highlighted the most in our reading, and also just everything we've done up to this point. So the first topic that I mentioned in my outline was just the basics of family life education. So I talked about how the core beliefs and understanding of the family and how important the family is step one to beginning a career in family life education, or even to helping people understand the importance of gaining an education about the family. And I noticed that it also mentioned a lot about the community and making sure the community that you're teaching in is on board with what you're doing, and that they're supportive of what you're doing as well, because that'll help you be able to get a lot more participants, and also just help you be more successful. And so something else I mentioned was that family life education must be founded on a goal to understand people and their specific needs within the family. Because if we're not trying to figure out why humans are humans, or how humans become humans, or what makes a human human, then we're not going to get very far in teaching people about the family and how to best strengthen their families. So I just mentioned a few things about, I've participated in a few family life education courses before, not as a teacher, but as just a participant. And after seeing how they do it and just getting some ideas, I've kind of developed my own ideas of how to best teach a course in a way that I would be able to project what I wanted to project. Because obviously there's no right or wrong way to teach a course, it's just kind of your own style. At least that's what I gathered from the reading. But obviously, like, each course is going to be different. Each teacher is going to teach differently. But what's most important is how much they believe in what they're teaching, how passionate they are about it, and how strong their desire is to help strengthen the family. And then the next topic that I focused on for my outline was focusing on prevention, because I noticed it talked a lot about prevention in our reading for the second week of the semester. And I wanted to touch on that because prevention is something that I really believe in and I feel strongly about. But some things that I mentioned on my outline were that it's important to reach out to your community, again, and other potential audience members in order to discover the most prominent family needs within your community so that you can focus your education, the things you teach on those things. And it's also important to use all of the resources that you have available to you, especially like prior research that has been done about the topic that you want to teach about, and also family life education programs that are already in use. It's always good to check those out and kind of see what they do, and gain inspiration from those different programs. I took a course on infancy development last semester, and then actually a couple of years ago I took a course on human development, and that's kind of where I developed my super strong belief in prevention and the power of it, as opposed to like trying to fix something that's already happened. So a specific topic that I really like for family life education that I'm actually going to be focusing on for this course is physical punishment and raising children, because through taking my human development and infant development courses, I've just developed a very strong opinion and education about the very negative effects that physical punishment can have on children, and how it's not necessary because there's other ways to go about punishing your children in a way that you don't have to cause them physical harm. So that's just a certain topic that I'm very passionate about. So I know that I'll be able to be most successful if I try and teach a topic that I obviously feel strongly about. And then the last topic that I touched on for my outline was the benefits of the media and how to market your family life education course. So I'm taking an entrepreneurship course right now, and I'm learning about how important marketing is in making or breaking your product. So I kind of related that to family life education and how marketing your certain course can literally make or break how that course turns out or how successful it is, because if you're marketing it correctly, then you're going to draw in quite a few people and you're going to make the most difference if you have more participants. So that was my outline.
Okay, I'll try and be quick. So basically, for my outline, I kind of touched on two different parts of family life education. So the first thing I did was I kind of defined family life education And one of the main things that I talked about in that was how the program needs to be credible. And I'll just read you like a sentence or two from it. And it says, credibility is important and essential. Ideas, principles, and tips need to be research-based to protect the integrity of what is being taught, as well as to avoid sharing and teaching false ideas and principles. And I think that's just really important because, I mean, we don't want to be teaching anything lies. And also, it just needs to be kind of relevant because it needs to be tied to real issues. So, like, the can kind of actually feel a part of it rather than just like, I don't know why I'm being taught this. So then I also talked about marketing family life education. And again, one of the big parts of the marketing is relevancy. It's important to teach what is relevant to the audience. Otherwise, people, like I said, people aren't going to want to attend your program. I also said that when you're promoting or marketing family life education program, you need to consider like the culture, the ideas, and the needs of the community. And then when you take those things into consideration, it's easier to figure out what you want to teach, how you want to teach, and where to teach. And I mean, those fit right into the 4 P's of marketing, which are product, price, place, and promotion. So, I mean, location is big. What you're teaching is obviously important, and so on. So that's pretty much all I talked about. That's just the short version because I know Ashley has to get to the temple. So there you go.
Perfect. Is there anything else that we do need to do in the meetings, or is it just the?
I think it's just talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to just kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
So Ashley,
So I think
will you be able to post the link then? Is that
Yeah,
how
I
that
will.
works?
And then we meet like on week 6, right? Am I on mute still? Oh.
Oh, what did you ask?
I just said, so then the next time we meet is week 6, right?
Yeah, it's week 3, week 6, and week 9, I think.
9. Okay. And these aren't too bad.
So are you posting the link then, Ashley?
Yeah, I can post it. I'll put it on the discussion board.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
And we don't, since we did option 2, we don't have to make any comments on the discussion board, right?
No, exactly.
Okay. So we're good.
You just have to post your outline.
Okay.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, and the outline has to be done today. I mean, we're kind of ahead of the curve, so that's good. We got quite a bit of stuff to do this week.
Yeah.
All righty, then I will post it. If you guys have any questions, just email whatever. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're going to be talking to each other a lot because we're each other's group.
Yeah.
You know, so we may be back here, maybe not needing to record it, but we may be back here just to talk about, you know, what we're all doing. We're all doing workshops, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody's working alone?
Me and Megan
I'm working with Ashley.
on campus. We're gonna do a workshop.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Alrighty, perfect. Then I will get this posted.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, ladies, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.